Hi everyone, welcome to the last video in this series from this page from Inky Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Johanna Basford, using Polychromos pencils, and we have this sort of shield flag page to do. So let's come in a little closer. Now I do want to mention again the facing page. I did say at the beginning of the series, but it's been a long old series, so in case you've forgotten, I'm just going to use the brown ochre and start this sort of wooden thing. I'm just putting a light layer down. The facing page is in next year's planner, so my plan was to leave it and not do it on video, but just do it in the planner when we come to that page. I'm going to use the burnt sienna on this bit as well, bottom and top a little bit. I thought it would be better than doing it now and then doing it again, because I think I would find that quite tricky to think of something different to do for you. I might not do this page for a while anyway, the facing page, myself, so we'll see. Excuse me. Right, that is that. Now I want a dark sepia just to put a little bit of extra shadow in. I am just sharpening it. Excuse me, I've just had a coffee and it's got stuck or something. So we're going to put a little bit extra under there where there would be some shadow, and along here where the fabric might leave a bit of a shadow, particularly down there, across here, and then look here where these bits are overlapping, a little bit down there. There we go. Now we've got a bit of background here, yeah, and then we've got our banner. So I'm a bit not sure what to do with that background bit. I don't really want it to stand out very much, but I was wondering, you see, whether to do the banner to make it look like it was white and just do a bit of dirty-ish colouring on it, but I think it might be better if it's quite bright. Let's do some of the actual printing on the banner first and worry about the background after. I think I'll give it some thought. I'm starting with this nougat, and I'm going to do this sort of crown bit. I'm going to make it gold, but I'm starting with a slightly lighter brown just to be a bit different, because we've got a lot of gold. We've done a couple of gold things on here already, so I thought I would just show you a different way of doing it, just because it's more interesting than keep on doing the same thing. I think like that. I'm going to make this bit gold too. Now this sort of I'm going to do that gold too. Sorry, my use of English is brilliant. Yeah, I've only spoken it my whole life. It's a hard language, but I should be able to think of a word, but I can't. So we're just doing these sort of edges of this. I'm sort of torn. Do I do this shield as well with a gold background? And what about this? I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over these dots, circles, and do something with them at the end. Do I make this? Yeah. I have a lot of gold. I don't really know how these really look. I've seen some in, where was it? A castle I went to. Excuse me. I'm trying to think where it was. Where should we go now? I think I'm going to go to green gold next. Green gold. Yeah, I went to a castle and they had these sort of banners hanging up. They weren't quite like this, but they had a lot of gold thread, you know, and the sort of regal colours, you know, the sort of reds and oranges and dark colours, which, ooh, that's unusual for a polychromo to do that. I wonder where that went. It disappeared off the back of my desk somewhere. Yeah, so I don't remember where it was. I can vaguely, no, it's not coming. Never mind. Doesn't matter. I've been to a few different castles over the years. Warwick, Windsor, Pembroke, Sudeley, Berkeley, Cardiff. Is Cardiff one just called Cardiff? I can't remember. So, yeah. Now this shield, I'm going to go around the items, whereas on the dots I went over them. My teeth are aching today, and I realised why. I was worried. My sister's husband has got bad toothache at the moment. He's got to have some teeth out. It's gone all a bit nasty for him, poor chap. This is Naples yellow. But I sort of thinking, you know how when someone said, you start thinking about your own teeth, but actually, because I've had a cold, it's be sinus, because I've got it in my jaw, Naples yellow. I always get a lot of sinus issues, so it's not toothache, it's just sinus. But you know, you start thinking, oh my god, what have I got to? I've never had toothache in my life. I don't know what it is. I tend to get gum disease, not rotten teeth. I don't know which is worse, to be honest. But I was told once by a dentist, I don't know if it's true, that you tend to either suffer from like needing cavities and needing fillings, or gum disease, and not both. I don't know. But yeah, I get gum disease a lot, and I should be seeing my hygienist more often, but things are in the way. Like last time I saw her, she said you need to come back in 3 months' time, and it's been a year. I have got an appointment, but it's just like, I saw her at sort of Christmas, so I thought, right, spring, and then my husband had it wasn't Christmas. Was it Christmas? No, I saw her in the summer, and I thought I won't do it for 3 months because it's expensive. I'll wait for a bit longer. And so I waited, and then Christmas came, and it was, you know, Christmas is busy, isn't it? Busy time of year. And then in the spring, my husband was struggling with his mental health, which is sorted out now. He realises he's got ADHD and he's on meds. It's better. Getting there, you know, not perfect. Oh, I like that, she says modestly. So there was that, and then kids, uni, blah, all that, and I just never got around to doing it. This is a permanent green olive. We're going to use it for the leaves. I'm going to do these leaves, this one, and these all with it. Why not? So what I'm going to do with this one is layer it up quite a lot at the bottom and then fade it off a bit. And I might put another colour in at the top, but I'll decide later. I don't know why I've decided to do all the same colour. I'm sort of thinking, you know, it's a printed cloth. Maybe they would be the same, but also it's going to be easier for me to decide on the background colour if I haven't got too many millions different colours in the foreground. Although lots of different greens probably wouldn't matter because I'm not going to do green. But yeah, he has been in so much pain. He doesn't know what to do with himself. But he's got an extraction booked, but he's still got 3 weeks to go. And my sister's like, what am I going to do? He can't eat. He can't barely talk. You know, he's on the strongest painkillers he can get over the counter. And she took him to the dentist yesterday, and they gave him a temporary filling, but they drilled a bit out, and the local anaesthetic they gave him didn't work well enough. So, you know, it just sounds a nightmare. for them. But they might have a cancellation for an extraction, but they only do them once every fortnight or so, because he's having a sedative. But he might just have to have it with a local anaesthetic, which he's scared of needles. He finds the whole thing so, and I think the stress of it is making the pain worse. You know, stress always makes pain worse. I find the best thing to do if I'm in a lot of pain, I've never, as I said, I've not had toothache thankfully, is to try to distract myself as much as I can by thinking about something nice. It's not easy. It's when I guess I've been lucky. I haven't suffered from chronic pain that much, you know. This is light green, you know, sort of continuous pain, not lifetime pain, thank goodness. I'm going to just go over all of them with this. But when I used to have this thing where when I stood up out of the chair, I just got intense pain in my legs. It was horrible. I never found out what it was, and it just eventually went away. And I was having physio and stuff for it, but it didn't really help. Painkillers wouldn't really work because it was sudden intense pain, you know. And so what I would do was, if I got up out of the chair every 15 minutes, it was fine. It was almost like a sort of, if I stiffened up. So I'd set an alarm, and every 15 minutes I would stand up and walk around the room a little bit, and that helped a lot. But when I got up in the morning, it was weird. I knew it was in my head in a way, because in the night, if I nipped out to the loo, I didn't get it. But when I got up in the morning, it was bad. So that's a bit odd, but you know. And I would sit there and lean my head on the chest of drawers until it went away, but I knew it would go away. It didn't, but just so intense. And but fortunately, because it did go away, that was good. But that's how I sort of just learnt to just try and ignore it. Also, manganese violet. Me and my son get cluster headaches. No, I've changed my mind. I'm not using this. I'm going to use the purple violet. It's because it's a bit too close to this red. I'm going to use purple violet for the whole background, and then I'm going to use a bit of mauve, I expect. So a really intense headache but luckily they last for about 5-10 seconds, and they're just so intense that you can't think about anything else. But I tend to rub the area that's hurting. He just puts his head in his hands and tries to ignore it. I'm trying to do actually a fairly thickish layer of this. I think it's a rather nice colour, and I might end up just doing the one layer. I'm going to go around these dots because I've got no clue what I'm doing with those yet. Was good. Yes, but I've seen people on TV who have these sort of headaches, and they can last for 20 minutes. Oh, that would be horrific. But he said he hasn't had any lately, which is good. I haven't either. Mine tend to come with sort of sinusitis and things like that. He doesn't know what causes his, but we fortunately know they're going to go away. And it's not, pain is a horrible thing. But I've studied pain, but I think when I studied it was quite old-fashioned. When I was at doing psychology, and there's this theory, the gate control theory of pain, where you have like certain things that make pain worse, that sort of open the gate to the nerves, which make it feel worse, and stress is one of them. Is a major factor really. So if you can try to keep stress down, it can help you a lot, and that is easy to say. But I think, like when I was in labour, I had a meditation thing playing all the time, and I don't know if it was the actual meditation that helped. It was specifically for birth, but just having something to listen to sort of distract your thought was quite good, so I sort of zoned out a lot, and that helped. And yeah, but my husband and mum wanted to put the TV on in the room. I was like, no, because that's going to distract me from listening to the meditation. I had my eyes shut as well, which I think helped because it took me away from thinking about where I was and what was happening. But you know, I felt it worked for me. But different things work for different people. Colouring again is a good one. You know, you can concentrate really intently on filling in this little gap here. I'm just going to sharpen my pencil actually. You know, and if you're thinking about that, it's distracting you from everything else. And that can help with your stress levels. You know, and unfortunately stress can cause a lot of illness and make a lot of illness worse, evidence shows. Even things like, you know, diabetes, which you would think, you know, blood sugar, we sort of think, oh, it's just what you eat. But actually research has shown that stress can have quite a big impact on blood sugar as well, because it's sort of because diabetes is a sort of hormonal thing, and stress is as well. They can sort of interact with each other. It's I suspect it's far more complicated than I have any understanding of, but just knowing that stress is a factor can be quite useful. The problem is that sometimes it can be like, I know stress is making things worse. I need to lower my stress. How I need to you get yourself stressed thinking about lowering your stress. You have to be a bit careful how you're approaching it, really. But if you know of methods that make you feel better, whether it's watching a comedy show, whether it's doing your colouring, listening to a radio programme or some music or a video, whatever it is, then that can be really useful and helpful. Just take your mind off things for a little while, and it can give some, you know, reduce the stress, and then any symptoms you get as a result of that stress can be reduced. You know, and I think also stress can build, so we have a certain amount of resilience, I think, to it. So, you know, I get up in the morning and I spill my cup of tea all over the floor, that's fine, I can deal with that. But if it's later in the day and lots of other things have happened that are stressful, and then that happens, to be honest, I don't get that stressed by that anyway, but you know, then it can make you feel more irritated. You can swear a bit and get a bit annoyed, whereas if I'm relaxed and I do that, I just go, okay, and just deal with it, you know. So I think it sort of can build up. So it's good to try to make sure that you can cope with the smaller stresses, and then that makes it easier to cope. You haven't got this sort of build up of things going on in your head. Again, as I say, it's easier said than done. And I think perhaps as we get older it can be a little bit easier sometimes, because we've learned how to deal with things. We might not have so many stresses going on in our lives. Our work might be easier, our family might be easier, that sort of thing, and we've learned the mechanisms to cope. But in some people, I have observed that they seem to get worse as they get older. I think perhaps they have more people to worry about, you know, as well as worrying about themselves and their spouses. They then have children to worry about, and then they have their grandchildren to worry about, you know, so sometimes I think it can get a little worse rather than better. Now, I like this colour, but that isn't intense enough for me, so I'm going to sharpen my pencil and I'm going to put another layer down. Now, if you wish, you don't have to do this. You can leave it just the one layer, or you may have done it intensely enough the first time, or you might prefer to put a bit of mauve on top instead if you want it slightly darker. I'm quite happy with this colour actually. I am going to use some mauve in a minute for those flowers, I think. I don't know what I'm doing with these dots still. Any thoughts? Help me out. Problem is, it's too late. I've got to do it. What's the time? Ooh, 10:30. Tennis match about 11 I want to watch. I should be done by then. That'd be nice. I can be editing a bit while I'm watching it. My editing is so straightforward. Basically, I do a few things and then the computer just has to whir away. I'm making a swatch sheet at the moment as well, so I can do a bit of that. So that's all good. So I'm looking forward to a nice, peaceful, relaxing day actually today, which is good. That's another thing that can help your stress. Don't pack too much into your day. I don't know if it's true of all nations, but in this country it almost feels like people are vying for the prize of the busiest person. You know, so much going on, and busyness does not just have to be like work and family and appointments and clubs and blah and this and that, you know. You can be busy by just doing lots of hobbies or lots of things around the house or seeing lots of people. Sometimes you need to just slow down a little bit, you know, think about maybe spending longer on each thing. So let's say rather than doing half an hour of colouring, half an hour of reading, I'll pop out for a walk, then I'll go and see someone, I'll look on my phone at this, I'll watch this show, I'll do that, you know. It's a lot of things to get through. Even if you're really enjoying them, maybe this sort of dash between this, that and the other is a little bit too much. So it might be better to, you know, spend a bit longer on each thing and just slow down a little bit. I'm not very good at doing that myself. I've always got a lot going on. I do get a great sense of satisfaction of finishing a lot of things too. But some days I do benefit from just taking it a little bit more slowly. Right, I am actually going to not use my mauve, but I am going to grab my Delft blue. That's what I'm going to do the circles with. I went very much out of the line on that one, just so they sort of stand out a little bit. Excuse me. And then I use the mauve now to do those flowers. I'm gonna actually fill them right in. Although the gold has been coloured so that it looks shiny, if you think this is sort of printed on our fabric, so it wouldn't really be shiny. The gold would because it's gold thread, but the purple wouldn't. Now I've got this little background bit to do down the side here, and I'm thinking maybe a sort of pale pink might work. It'll match the pink on the other side of the page that you can't see. I'm going to use the light magenta though. It's a slightly different shade of pink to the one on the house on the other side. Quite nice to use a different colour. And I am just going to do a sort of medium pressure layer right through. I'm not going to do anything fancy with this. There we go. I think we'll be done. Yeah, I think that's that. I'm just checking to make sure it's all done. I think so. Now I didn't do anything with the bird's eye in 2 videos ago when we did this bird. I was just looking at it thinking maybe you might think I'm just going to remove these pieces of paper. Look at that circle. Thinking maybe you might be thinking that I had forgotten, but actually I didn't. I wanted to leave it white. I don't know, birds' eyes are usually completely black, but I just felt that it sat quite nicely like that. If you want to make it look more realistic, you could do it all in black, but I'm happy with it like that. So there is our completed page. I really enjoyed that. Thank you for joining me. Not sure what series I'm going to do next. I don't have any clue at all. We'll see what happens. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a really super day and happy colouring.